Hello everyone, my name is Adam. Welcome back to our YouTube channel Wisdom of Kabbalah. And today we continue our challenge, how to achieve your goals, your targets in your life, visualization. Today we will talk about the world of possibilities and why it is important to understand that the source wants to give you. And the next we will talk about our natural perception, how our brain works and how our consciousness works, how we can use different kind of senses and channels we have. And this is absolutely secret from the wisdom of Kabbalah. Visualization is like a dream where we see situations on the inner screen of our consciousness, almost like in a movie. And sometimes we even find ourselves taking part in the film. And the events we experience in a dream can feel just as real as those in the physical world. And we can laugh, cry, even feel pain, taste, experience cold and warmth, and take in different aromas. But all of this happens within our consciousness, without the involvement of our physical senses. Our eyes might be closed, yet we continue to see, hear words and sounds, breathing and taste. But in reality, that doesn't occur in the physical world. We experience all of it on the inner screen of our consciousness at a time when our sensory organs are inactive. And in our normal state, we perceive the entire world through the outer screen. And the spiritual law says we can perceive the world around us in accordance with the state of our inner being. Information about all the objects in reality is stored in repository of our subconscious. Only when our consciousness awakens and compares with the data stored in our subconscious, we perceive what we experience outside of ourselves. If the information is not already within us, we will not be able to perceive anything. And for example, when a person sees an object in front of him and calls it a glass, how does we know that it is a glass? Because we decode the object and name it. The name that holds in the knowledge about the object, its purpose and how it is used. But where is this knowledge stored? Like a library, our brain stores information about the outside world, and as if it is separate from us, but which we pull from subconscious like books from the shelf to describe the reality we live. That's why I have here some books for you. And it is essential to understand that we have the power to unlock new channels of perception, allowing us to see the world in a completely different light. For example, we may come to realize that people we interact with are not just physical bodies. In the depth of our consciousness, we have the ability to perceive the world in a way that is beyond the senses, much like in a dream, where our senses are not active. But we can still experience tastes, smells, and hear beautiful music that doesn't actually exist in the physical world. It appears that we are indeed capable of perceiving without our physical senses. So, what organs are we using to experience situations in a dream when our eyes are closed? Where is this place where you were in your dream, feeling clearly, for example, as you moved through a tunnel? Who experiences fatigue, tension, fear, emotions, or aversion to situations or objects during sleep. When the body stays still and the senses are inactive. And this is the answer. We realize that we can perceive without our physical senses, and the decoding of reality functions within us seamlessly, even in their absence. We do not even require the body to perceive the world. It is enough that consciousness continues to decode the reality, for it matters not whether we are asleep or awake. Where then is the one who perceives all of this? If sleep and faithfulness do not stop our consciousness, both here and there we continue to perceive. It follows that the one who perceives reality exists beyond all places. Honestly speaking, he is nowhere. And this too is but a metaphor, for it is impossible to define a place where no place exists. And now the secret from Kabbalah. Our consciousness was created by the will of Creator. And just listen carefully what wisdom of Kabbalah says. God wanted to bring us happiness and created the desire to receive it. So, I am desire to receive happiness, which Creator wants to give me. Just think about this one, just feel. And therefore, the one who perceives reality is not located in any specific place. Essentially, he projects his perception of reality and pleasure within himself. In truth, there is no world neither inside nor outside him. What we see is shaped by our level of development and understanding, attained through his connection with the infinite flow of welfare. This is a deep concept, one that deserves deeper complementation to truly understand. Here is a deep concept, one that deserves deeper contemplation to truly understand. Human beings are driven by the desire for pleasure, using the body, intellect, and all our senses to seek goodness and achieve happiness. What we are attuned to is what we attract. It is now evident that everything we perceive is already within us. And if we want to achieve what we desire in the physical world, we must first visualize it within our consciousness. If Creator created me as a desire to receive pleasure and He wants to bring me happy, I have to start to concretize what I really want, knowing that He wants to give me. I have to identify that this is my own desire, not given by the society around me. And if I know what I want, the next step, what I have to do, I need to visualize it. And when we bring our desires to life within ourselves, they will ultimately be reflected in our external reality. And if we do not do this, it won't happen. However, it is important to understand that negative situations can happen too. But they only seem negative because we choose to interpret them that way. In reality, there are no truly negative situations. Nothing is inherently negative as its core. The interpretation of reality is the only thing that we can make a situation negative. For example, imagine someone holding a knife and wounding another person. Is that a negative situation? What do you think? No. Why? It is a doctor performing surgery to save a life. Essentially, this situation can be seen either as one person injuring another with a knife or as a surgeon performing surgery with intent to help the patient. And even it is an aggressor instead of doctor, at its core, this challenge has not come to the person by chance. It is an opportunity to him to overcome his arrogance and egoism. That is why he was given such a doctor who afflicts him with a knife. But we interpret it like an attacker. The person, through his outward perception, doesn't realize that this is actually for his personal growth. Nobody can get me hurt if I can decode the reality by myself. What I have to do, how to make my life more happy, more interesting in my life, using visualization and using special knowledge. And this is what we will talk next video, because I want to tell you why it is really important to know about the purpose of this world, the purpose of material world, and what is the role of human in this world. When you will know this knowledge, of course, you need a lot of time to read a lot of books from the wisdom of Kabbalah to understand about the purpose of the life, the purpose of our creation, the purpose of our world. Here on Anavigator, we give you a sense of this wisdom, which is enough to achieve your material targets in this world, to make your life now and here better. And visualization, you switch on the proper way using another interpretation and decoding of reality when you have adequate knowledge about the world. So, as this example about the doctor, even if it is an aggressor instead of a doctor, as its core, the challenge has not come to the person by chance. It is an opportunity to him to overcome his arrogance and egoism. That is why he was given such a doctor who afflicts him with a knife. But we interpret it as an attacker. The person, through his outward perception, doesn't realize that this is actually for his personal growth. From the perspective of the Creator's purpose, nothing in the world is fundamentally wrong. When we apply the laws of truth to interpret situation, we understand that someone is undergoing surgery right now because he is sick and needs to be healed. When we apply the laws of truth to interpret situation, we understand that someone is undergoing surgery right now because he is sick and needs to be healed. According to the spiritual law, nothing can occur on the lower level without a command from above. Therefore, the attacker does what he has been commanded from above. And since there is such a command from above, it means that he is performing good and contributing to correction. And why is healing necessary for him? We do not know all the signs or the complete process of correction this person is undergoing. But from the perspective of the higher power, he is currently being healed. This surgery is essential because in reality nothing is truly bad. However, a person may perceive this situation as negative if his subconsciousness is conditioned to see it that way. By understanding the spiritual laws and sacred wisdom, we develop a new understanding of reality, which enters our subconscious. And the next time when we are faced with a similar situation, we will be able to perceive and interpret it differently than an ordinary person would. And that's why you are lucky if you watch this video now, because people in the world prefer to spend their time just to enjoy without any improvement. But you sit now and watch this video because you try to understand how to build your life, how you can achieve your happiness in your life. You ask your questions to yourself, you try to understand what I'm talking about now. And when you start working with this special spiritual wisdom and this knowledge, you will be able to understand and interpret any situation from the perspective of the Creator's intention, that where nothing is bad, which totally transforms our lives. It is important not to remain passive when someone is attacking you with the purpose of causing harm. You should not passively accept the challenges of the external world, but it is essential to recognize that nothing bad will happen with you. When such situations arises, you should understand that it is meant to help you grow and bring you some benefit. However, the specific knowledge, the specific nature of that benefit is something we typically don't know. So faith is enough. We don't know the reason why sometimes some bad things happen in our lives. We should trust, we should believe that everything is for our improvement. Based on the spiritual laws, we can manage these scary pictures that they arise in our consciousness. And when we change the way to interpret things in our subconsciousness, we can start to perceive negative moments as a positive light. The reality's significance is shaped by our interpretation of it. Another proof, everyone has heard the saying, wolves are nature's cleaners, right? On the surface, the wolf might appear to be killing defenseless deer, but in truth, it is calling the weak and the old, helping to regulate nature's balance, correct? And the most interesting thing is that we, in a way, a manifestation of reality's interpretation. And if we change it, we will stop seeing ourselves as we see ourselves now. Wherever you are, feel yourself as a spiritual being, free from the limitation of time and space. You have to change your interpretation of reality, and you change your interpretation to yourself. Practice staying attuned to that specific point in your consciousness. Deep inside us lies a natural code placed from above, the key to our existence. Along this, our environment, schools, and parents played their roles in fully forming us as individuals. Without a natural understanding, a person cannot exist in the world. Without recognizing ourselves as a physical forms, we would not be able to exist in the physical world. For instance, people might pass through the windows, fly, or transform into other shapes. In that case, the world would lose its sense of purpose. And this world exists to limit us with physical boundaries and time, so that we can work on the growth of our souls according to these limitations. Now, we give you just a small part of this information about visualization. And the reason why it is important, because we are living in the world where we use our subconscious as a library of knowledge we already got. And we decode the reality based on the knowledge we have from the society, from our parents, from the books, from the schools, from university, from TV, from media. But what if our reality is different? From where we need to take information and knowledge to see how this world is real? And the wisdom of Kabbalah gives full information about our world. Before we finish, I just like to remind you and tell you again that our visualization is one more skill we can grow, we can develop. And it is very important to make our life better, because using your visualization, you can interpret the reality in the good way, positive, because everybody you see around you is on the special point of his improvement. And if you even see some bad things with this person, this is just your reaction. But if you look on the picture from the above, you can see that this is just a process to make him better, to grow, to develop. And it will keep me and hold me on the position more stable when I'm going to improve my own life. Because if something happened wrong with me, as I feel it is bad things, I can use this visualization and based on the knowledge, and I can decode this situation on the positive way, which is really, really important in our life. So visualization is a must. We can use this skill to make our life better, to make our life more interesting, because we can decode reality in alternative way. Of course, we are living in the physical world, and we cannot fly out from the window, right? But we use visualization on the special proper moment in our life when it is necessary. We can use this skill when we decide, and on the way we decide. It is very important. We become a masters of visualization, which help us to achieve any goal in your life. Next video, we will give you the special technique of Yehudim about visualization and why it is important to do this practice before you go to sleep. Stay tuned. My name is Adam, Wisdom of Kabbalah.